The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. In times of peace, any discussion of this subject and any action that results are both painful and without precedent. But this is a time of peace and peril, which knows no precedent in history. It is the unprecedented nature of this challenge that also gives rise to your second obligation, an obligation which I share, and that is our obligation to inform and alert the American people, to make certain that they possess all the facts that they need and understand them as well, the perils, the prospects, the purposes of our program, and the choices that we face. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed.
Throughout all recorded human history, and even today, powerful secret societies, cults, and religions have dominated the mind of humankind. When it comes to secret societies, throughout world history and even in the modern era, there is always speculation as to which cults exist or which cults are myths. There are many prominent, well-known secret societies which influenced the modern world, such as the Temple of Set, the Ordo Templi Orientis, the Golden Dawn, Freemasonry, Skull and Bones, and the Bohemian Grove. All of
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look
Are
forward...
you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society in Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction.
All of these secret societies are merely different denominations in the same religion, the Babylonian Mystery Schools. The Babylonian Mystery Schools can be likened to a compartmentalized pyramid scheme, with well-meaning people at the bottom, a management or priest class in the central areas, and a ruthless, brutal, predatory leadership at the top, who always seem to worship a malevolent force, or otherwise has a darker agenda than what appears on the surface. Albert Pike was the supreme Grand Mason of all Freemasonry in the world. Albert Pike also founded the Ku Klux Klan, but you've never heard Jesse Jackson call for the removal of Albert Pike's statue in front of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. This is because Jesse Jackson is a 33rd degree Freemason. Most low-rank Masons are what high-level cultists would call outsiders, and they are just normal, well-meaning people who believe their great work, as they call it, is to improve society as a whole for everybody. But in reality, their organization is compartmentalized, and they are being controlled and manipulated from the top. Likewise, in the Ku Klux Klan, high-level members call themselves Knights of the Golden Circle or Knights of the Secret Circle, and low-level KKK members do not understand that the Ku Klux Klan itself is part of a larger Masonic organization. Most Freemasons rightfully detest the Ku Klux Klan, but they've never looked at the paintings of Albert Pike on their temple walls and asked themselves why the founder of the Ku Klux Klan adorns their hallowed halls. This is the power of hidden in plain view, and it is the very core hallmark of secret societies. The very word cult means secret, and secrecy is the core of this religion.
So the Illuminati is basically just an extension of the mystery religion system, the whole type of philosophy.
Yes, it was a way of hoarding knowledge and power to a few special people.
And how do they hoard the knowledge?
Well, when I say knowledge, some of the knowledge is pseudo-knowledge, and some of the knowledge is actually scientific knowledge, which enabled, for instance, Christopher Columbus to be certain that he could sail across the Atlantic and hit land. He was associated with the Knights Templars, which is one of these secret societies associated with the Illuminati. So you've got different types of knowledge, but some of the knowledge is actually bogus. It's just claimed so that they can get people to join whatever mystery religion they're trying to offer. The satanic rituals that they carry out, which are horrendous traditional rituals, blood sacrifices, requires a certain level of insanity and dissociative ability. If you were a normal, sane person and you had to participate in the higher level Illuminati rituals, you'd probably go crazy. It's absolutely essential that they They maintain the bloodlines.
These are religious sacraments to these people of power over you. And they don't like the fact you're straight and strong. They don't like the fact you're good. They don't like the fact you're hardworking. They don't like the fact you want justice. They want to hurt you. They want to dominate you to fill that empty spot in their heart.
How widespread is this religion? The unfortunate answer is it is very widespread. It spans across Hollywood, media, government, corporate, and scientific industries. But particularly in our government and at the highest of corporate levels, it is rampant. If you think the Ku Klux Klan and Freemasons are bad, let me take you to Monterey, California. Resting in the ancient redwood forest here lies a 2,700-acre retreat called the Bohemian Grove, where dark rituals are carried out, and attendees to these rituals include many U.S. presidents, prime ministers, German chancellors, Hollywood elite, heads of business, academia, and Federal Reserve chairmen. U.S. presidents have been attending since as early as the turn of the last century in 1900. Presidents include Nixon, Eisenhower, Roosevelt, both Bushes, Hoover, Ford, and Reagan. Then you've got Colin Powell, Dick Cheney, Henry Kissinger, and a healthy selection of White House Chief of Staffs, senators, secretaries of state, secretaries of defense, army generals, and the list goes on and on. The centerpiece of the 2-week encampment is the Cremation of Care ritual, in which a mock human sacrifice is made in front of a 40-foot owl statue of the deity Moloch. Remember the name Moloch because we will get back to that.
In the fall of 2004, while in New York to cover the Republican National Convention, we ran into David Gergen, the Karl Rove of 4 presidential administrations.
Okay, one last question. I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal, it's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you. Oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, "Hey, I don't run around in the woods naked." What did that mean?
Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, "I didn't run around naked like they do."
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the Cremation of Care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials.
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film, and did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them up after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual gentlemanly?
Sir, everything I don't owe you this comment.
I know. I appreciate it.
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you and goodbye.
Been in the ritual?
It's none of your damn business.
Oh,
that's right. Listen. You go around and make understandings with people and violate them. You ambush people on the streets, and that's inappropriate form of journalism. If you wish to practice that, that's fine, but don't ask others to respect you for it. If you want to, you can do. You're a free American, like anything you want. If you want to be uncivil and rude and ungentlemanly, that's up to you. But don't expect the rest of us to say, "Oh well, you're
there, Mr. Gergen."
I'm sorry, nobody sets policy in there. We try to be gentlemen, and obviously, you don't belong there.
Weaving spiders come out here. Yeah, that is a three-pointer.
As disturbing as the Bohemian Club is, it is only a proving ground for something even worse. There is a 70-acre private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands known as Little St. James, which once belonged to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein, who, as we all know, was convicted for using his private island as a pedophile resort. Visitors to his island included U.S. presidents, heads of business, academia, and British royalty, most notably Prince Andrew. On Epstein's Island, there is a temple which seems to share a number of similarities with a historic monument in Aleppo, Syria, called the Hammam Yalbuga, which was a Mameluke bath built in 1491. It was a common place to get massages, and there weren't very many bathhouses built for massages in those days. One thing that stands out immediately is how Epstein groomed his victims, some as 9 years old, by getting them to give massages, and his temple's likeness to the Mameluke bathhouse. Mameluke translated means one who is owned, or simply put, a slave. It is a term most commonly referring to non-Arab, ethnically diverse slave soldiers and freed slaves who were assigned military and administrative duties serving the ruling Arab dynasties in the Islamic world. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex trafficking minors, or more simply put, sex slaves, and his island temple uses the Mameluke architecture, which is indicative to slave culture. The Hammam Yalbuga is also the gate of the citadel of Aleppo, which is the temple of Hadad. Hadad being the storm and rain god in Canaanite and ancient Mesopotamian religions. Particularly, his origins can be traced back to Babylon and Sumer, where he was known as Baal, Marduk, or Moloch, the same Moloch we just saw in the Bohemian Grove. Going all the way back to the beginning of recorded human history, the ruling class has always understood that knowledge is power. That is how the Babylonian Mystery School was formed. And from this school, all other secret societies were formed throughout the ages to guard the secrets of medicine, architecture, government, agriculture, metallurgy, and all forms of sciences and mathematics. Secret societies are nothing more than the first intelligence agencies which the elites used to abuse their control of that knowledge, to dominate and control their populations. These same sciences of control are being used today. That is why the world is totally off the rails and completely out of control. The Babylonian Mystery School is the science of sophistry, the science of the con artist, the science of the despot, the dictator, the charlatan, the liar, all organized to manipulate and control the population. They can be recognized by their symbolism and predictive foreshadowing. This is how they convey who they are and what they are planning. It is their one great weakness. Their secrecy is their biggest weakness, and that makes it all of our responsibility to recognize them, expose all of their lies, and reveal all of their secrets.